Okay, in our last example, number 4, says Travis jumped off a diving board 20 meters high with a velocity of 2 meters per second squared. We're going to write a quadratic model. So we're dealing with meters. So our A value is going to be negative 4.9. Our velocity is 2. And our C value is 20. So our y-intercept is going to represent the height in which Travis started before he jumped. He did jump up because we do have a velocity. So then we have our maximum height. So our vertex will represent the maximum height and how many seconds it takes to reach that height. And then our positive 0 tells us how many seconds it takes for Travis to hit the water. The initial height is 20 meters. What is his maximum height? So we have to use the vertex formula, negative b over 2a will give us the time, and then we'll plug that in. So x equals negative b over 2 times a. And let's calculate that. So 2 divided by 9.8. We get about 2. So we're going to say about 0.2 seconds. So in 2 seconds, or 0.2 seconds, he reaches his maximum height. Now he's already pretty close to his maximum height, so of course it doesn't take long. He's just taking a quick jump. Now we're going to plug that in to our equation to find y, which is the maximum height. So we're going to plug this into the calculator, being very careful using our negatives and parentheses. So negative 4.9 times 0.2 squared plus 2 times 0.2 plus 20. We get about 20.2, and that is meters. So he starts out at 20, and his highest point is 20.2. So he has a jump of 0.2 meters. Remember, x is time and y is height. How high will Travis be in 2 seconds? So this time they give us the time, and we're going to find the height. So we simply plug in 2 everywhere we see t. And again, in our calculator, negative 4.9 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus 20. And we get 4.4. So remember, we were finding height, so that's meters. So in 2 seconds, he's 4.4 meters high. How many seconds will it take Travis to reach the maximum height? Well, we just calculated that. That's the x part of our vertex. So 0.2 seconds. How many seconds will it take Travis to hit the water, to be at 0 feet? That's going to be an x-intercept. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times ac over 2 times a. So I'll just start right here. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times my a times my c all over 2 times a. Okay, now let's clean that up a bit. Negative 2 plus or minus. We're going to square the b, and now we're going to pause and determine the operation. So it's negative times positive. So that's a plus. And then we're going to have 4 times 4.9 times 20. And I get 392. All over negative 9.8. So I'm going to add those two numbers under the radical and get 396 over negative 9.8. Now, remember, I have two roots. I'm going to have a negative one and a positive one. And so we're going to break up the quadratic into two equations. I always do my subtraction one first because that's the one that's going to give me my positive root. So negative 2 minus the square root of 396 divided by negative 9.8. That gives me about 2.2, and that is seconds. So 2.2 seconds is when Travis hits the water.